Things were a little bit different for me when I was growing up. Living with a mum with mental health issues wasn't easy. Times it was difficult and challenged my emotions. So my mum had obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, anxiety, depression, and an addictive personality. This wasn't easy. As a kid living with this, it meant that things were very different living at home. We'd have times when the house always had to be clean, so it meant we couldn't touch things. And if we did, it meant my mum would end up cleaning the cupboard out for hours. It meant that we'd had to live on microwave meals because my mum couldn't use the oven. So this led to me feeling frustrated quite often. I was anxious all the time, worried about doing things in the house that would maybe upset my mum. It was quite distressing to see my mum caught up in the OCD. The only thing I could do was to go out quite a bit. I had to go out skating, or I'd lock myself in the room and play games, and that was my way of kind of dealing with it, was to isolate myself from it. And that affected a lot of things in school as well, because I wasn't able to do the homework on time, or I'd be in school stressing and worrying about my mum. I wasn't always able to put my head down and work as hard as I would like to. Later on in my teens, the OCD for my mum got a lot worse, and because it got worse, it ended up pushing my mum to a place of depression and anxiety. And this depression got so bad that on a few occasions my mum attempted to take her life. And for me and my sister, that was really hard, and we didn't quite know how to deal with it. I remember once me and my sister hiding in the car because we had no idea how to deal with that. And my dad was working away. As kids, it put us into a lot of confusion. So over the years, one of my mum's coping mechanisms for the things she was living with was drinking alcohol, and that caused a lot more problems within our family. Everything was crumbling around us. It was at the age of 17 I realised that I was actually part of the problem, and I had to change my attitude towards things as well. I had to try and choose to understand rather than trying to change my mum. Choosing to try and understand helped me have compassion and not react. It helped me to know that mental health isn't as simple as just thinking differently. It was at this stage that Jesus came into my life, and having that unconditional love gave me a different perspective, that all wasn't lost, and that the best was yet to come. Surfing really helped me to take time to talk to God, to process things I was thinking about, and to not think about things. And this meant that I had a bit more of a clear head to talk to my mum. Trying to understand my mum's mental health hasn't been easy, and we realised that as a family, that mental health isn't something that my mum goes through, that it's actually something that we as a family go through. Through the journey of the past 10-15 years, I've realised that there is hope. That even though it was a struggle, there is still hope.